Hi, and welcome to the Ask Dr. Angela podcast with everyone's favorite OBGYN, Dr. Angela Jones. Have you ever been too embarrassed or shy to ask your own doctor about your, girl parts? Well, you've come to the right place to get straight answers. Feel free to ask Dr. Angela anything women's health related. Obstetrics and gynecology? She keeps it real. Pregnancy? She's been there, done that. Menopause? She'll get you through. Young or old, Dr. Angela's got you covered, girl. Now here's Dr. Angela.
What's good, people? This is Dr. Angela, everyone's favorite OBGYN, and I would like to officially welcome you to episode 330 of the Ask Dr. Angela podcast. I am so excited to be back. So excited to be back. Can't even put it into words. It's just good to be back in my groove. You know, the blog post is coming out weekly again. I've got a video going up weekly, and the podcast is up and running, and I just love doing this. And you all have been so interactive and responsive. Like, I'm trying my best to keep up, but it's amazing. So on today's podcast, we're going to talk about exercise during pregnancy. So y'all know, one of my favorite lines during an office visit is baby moving and grooving? I ask that at every visit. Is baby moving and grooving? Well, how about this? Is the mom to be? Are you, my pregos, my expectant moms, are you moving and grooving? And so this is what we know about pregnancy. Pregnancy is beautiful. It's awe-inspiring. It's life-changing. But on the flip side, there's fatigue, there's emotional lability, and then there are the common annoyances like swollen legs and feet, back pain, constipation. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Can you relate? You know what I'm talking about? I'm sure that a lot of you expectant moms, both past and present, totally know what I'm talking about. So let's pose this. So why exercise, Dr. Angela? How about because it does your body and pregnancy good? So here are 5 really easy and obvious reasons, as far as I'm concerned, that you should be exercising during pregnancy. Number 1, let's start with the obvious. It gives you energy. For those of you that didn't get that natural pregnancy glow up, all the endorphins and feel-good hormones that are released during the course of a good workout will not only make you feel better, but it will also make you look better. Number 2, exercise during pregnancy keeps weight gain at bay. Remember, too much weight gain can adversely impact things like labor. Too much weight gain can increase your risk of things like C-section, hypertensive disorders, gestational diabetes. Again, the list goes on and on. So just think, if during the course of your pregnancy you've been exercising, you're not going to have nearly as many pounds to shed postpartum. That in and of itself is a bonus. Number 3, easier labor. A physically fit mom is much more likely to experience less pain during labor and maybe even shorter labor. Keep in mind, labor means work. So a fit body, fit thanks to exercise, will give you the power and confidence to kick labor's tail. Number 4, exercise during pregnancy decreases your risk of postpartum depression. Now let me tell you, postpartum depression is a very real phenomenon. Exercise during pregnancy will not only decrease the risk of developing this, but it will also help ensure better quality sleep. That is something that every new mom needs. And number 5, exercise during pregnancy is a great way to just start healthy living. If you're already exercising during pregnancy, it's easier to keep it going. Remember, exercising decreases the risk of things like obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and many other chronic medical conditions. So have I convinced you to exercise yet? Maybe, maybe not. Well, if I have, and even if I haven't, these are some things that you need to know. Continuing your exercise program or initiating one, of course, after consulting with your OBGYN, will not, I'm going to say it again, will not increase your risk of miscarriage or having a baby with low birth weight or preterm delivery. The American College of OBGYN does recommend that pregnant women get at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity weekly. Again, 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity weekly. So what is aerobic activity and what qualifies as moderate intensity? So aerobic activity involves the movement of large muscle groups like those found in your arms and legs in a rhythmic way. And the intensity is deemed moderate if it is significant enough to raise your heart rate and cause sweating. So with moderate intensity exercise, you're going to be able to talk normally, but you won't be able to sing. Got it? A brisk walk is an example of a moderate intensity exercise. So other types of exercises that are safe during pregnancy include things like swimming and or water aerobics, the elliptical machine, stationary cycling, modified yoga or Pilates, jogging, some weight training. And so certainly for elaboration on some of these, go to my blog post on this at askdrangela.com. That's askdrangela.com. There I go into much more detail about why these exercises are beneficial and what they add. Exercises to obviously avoid during pregnancy: any contact sports or sports that put you at an increased risk of abdominal trauma. These are obvious, people. Hockey, boxing, soccer, etc. Skydiving. No skydiving during pregnancy. Any activity where there's an increased risk of falling, like gymnastics, skiing, horseback riding, are off limits. Activities that are performed above 6,000 feet, unless you already happen to live at 6,000 feet and are therefore accustomed to functioning at this altitude. Otherwise, no activities performed above 6,000 feet. Remember, always check with your OB prior to initiating an exercise routine. If you have any of the following, things like a placenta previa, threat of preterm labor or contractions, cervical incompetence, exercise will be a no-no for you. When you exercise, dress for success. This is not the time to go cheap on your gear. So you want to wear comfortable, loose-fitting clothing. You want to make sure you are exercising on a flat surface to decrease your risk of falling. You want to wear a proper shoe. This will decrease your risk of injury. And remember, drink plenty of water. Listen to your body. If you feel too tired, if you're in pain, you feel lightheaded, dizzy, you can either decrease your activity level or just choose a different exercise. I'm hoping that this blog post has been informative and has encouraged you to move and groove during your pregnancy. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. So happy to be back. Please, please, please make sure that you just go to my website, www.askdrangela.com. That's askdrangela.com. It is new and improved, completely revamped. The imaging is amazing. The podcast is there. You can sign up for it, not just on iTunes, but on the numerous other media outlets that the podcast is featured on. I haven't forgotten about my Android users and listeners. So you can sign up for the podcast there. You can sign up for my weekly blog post. You can also sign up for my YouTube channel. All of these things are readily accessible on my website. As is per usual, I'm going to leave you with a little quote from one of my favorite books, Cindy Gingras. She Went Out on a Limb. It's a book of inspiration for women. And so today's quote says, "You have to live the life you were born to live. You have to live the life you were born to live." And that's from the Reverend Mother to Maria from The Sound of Music. No one knows you like you know you. I dare you to be your best you and to follow your own rules. I'm so happy to be back. Thanks again for tuning in. So looking forward to reconnecting with you on episode 331 of the Ask Dr. Angela podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Ask Dr. Angela podcast. For more information on women's health and the show notes for this episode, please visit Dr. Angela at www.askdrangela.com. While you're there, don't forget to leave your own message for Dr. Angela. See you soon! All of the information provided and discussed in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and should not take the place of consulting a physician. This podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or illness and does not and should not replace treatment from a medical professional.